fellas, Zem from Strike Gaming. We're just gonna do the quick review on the new Swedish Tier 8 premium tank. I'm assuming that this is maybe some sort of, they're letting us know that, instead of just training your Tier 7 Leo, that maybe there's gonna be a Swedish medium line past the Leo, of course. We'll see. Yeah, it's a guess. I don't know. Who knows? There's probably more information out on the web that somebody's probably have a guess of possibly them doing another line. But I guess typically when they release these tanks, shortly thereafter, within a couple patches, there's usually a line for it. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't usually pay attention to too much of that stuff. But so what we got here is a Centurion 1. A better Centurion 1 actually. And the people that don't know, I'm sure this has been bandied around on the forums quite a bit. This is tied in with the band called Sabaton. They're a Swedish metal band. So I get the gimmick tanks, right? Everybody's talking about these. Oh, what's the big deal? They're just another band. Why are they doing this? Who the hell is Sabaton? I've heard that before too. Uh, the 131, Tiger 131, the Poodle, the Rudy, blah blah blah. They're all they're all a little bit of a gimmick. Cell tanks, kind of unique, kind of unusual. Uh, People bitch about them, well, then don't buy them, right? So I get. I mean, they have to make money. This is a company, obviously. So in that sense, when you buy the packages, you have a couple different packages to choose from, and you do get the 5 crewmen plus the brothers in arms with the wacky, heavy metal sign language, apparently. The camo is actually kind of interesting. If anybody's familiar with Sabaton, they have a tendency to wear a camouflage pants that are blue, white, and like gray. So you can tell by the camouflage on the tank that's kind of obviously representing the band. Um, the band, I can see why they've tied it in with them. Sabaton is known for most of their songs are geared toward. Actually, they're almost all geared toward it. They're usually epic battles, or somebody that was in a battle that did an epic deed, I guess you could call them. I mean, they have songs that range all the way back to like the Zulu Wars with the British Empire back in the 19th century. World War One, World War Two. They have songs about the Night Witches from Russia. They have songs about the White Death from Finland. So I can see why they would pick this band. These guys are bigger in Europe, obviously, than they're going to be in the United States. So if you're interested in it, check them out. They actually, I'll actually post the video in the thread I'll start with the new Primo Victoria video that they did with World of Tanks. It's so Primo Victoria was actually their first album, I think back in like 2004, 2005. I think they might have had one other one that didn't do so hot, but Primo Victoria is like their starting album, and it was a good album. I mean, I'm not necessarily a huge metal fan, but these guys aren't bad. My two sons, my 6-year-old, my 10-year-old, love these guys. They watch them. Yeah, they're all about Sabaton. I don't know why, but hey, kids nowadays. I guess it's better than K-pop, right? I mean, it seems like 50% of the server on here would be K-pop fans. But whatever. Okay, so back to the tank. Essentially, look at it. It's a Centurion 1. I mean, we go find the Centurion 1, and yep. I mean, there is some minor differences. Obviously, it has a basket on the back on the other one. More along the lines of, say, the Mark 7, with the basket on the back. So yeah, it's a Centurion Mark 1. I mean, during after the World War II, the British sold these fucking things to everybody. I mean, they were scattered across the Middle East. Yeah, they were a hell of a main battle tank. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt if you see some of these added to other nations too, just because of how prevalent these guys were after World War II. Centurions everywhere. So, in the comparison between the two, then you kind of get something a little interesting here. Actually, running the same equipment, same crew skills, the Primo Victoria actually has a slight edge over the Centurion 1. Penetration, average damage, all that stuff, pretty exactly the same. A little quicker reload, obviously. The turn traverse is a little bit better. And what is actually the real interesting part about this is the turret. So in the Centurion, we have 152, and this tank has 254. Now I've heard a rumor that the Centurion is probably going to be upgraded to, the same turn style as the Victoria. So obviously that's going to change a little bit. The view range, excellent. Obviously compared to the ooh, did I put that on there? Yeah, so I'm running the same configuration as yeah. So actually this tank with coated optics, the Victoria actually has a better view range with the exact same screw and the exact same setup of equipment as the Centurion 1. That's interesting. I guess I didn't even notice that. So yes, this tank is better than the Centurion 1 that's in game. So I'm assuming at some point this tank, the Centurion 1, will probably get. I have heard some rumors that they're going to be upgrading the British line. I'm not sure if the Centurion 1 is going to be involved in that. But at this point right now, the Victoria is a better Centurion. So, that's something to think about, I guess. If you're interested in, if you like Cent ones, hey, Primo Victoria, yeah, great tank. Obviously we talked about the turret as being the big, this is 254. This is what I've played of it. This is tough. I mean, it is hard to pin this turret. I love the gun on it. It's a great little gun. Snappy. Doesn't seem to miss a lot. Obviously with the dispersion at 100 meters at 0.3. Aim time's a little long, but with this kind of gun, it just snap shells out. Nah, no problem. 6.19 second reload time. Obviously, almost 7 rounds a minute. View range excellent. Obviously the signal range, who gives a shit about that? But anyway, view range great. Great view range on this. And I'm only running, what am I up here? Not quite to the next set on the situational awareness, so that obviously this is probably going to go up even more as you build your crew skills. I've played it, I don't know how many times now. I'm still running about a 50% win rate in it. I think I've probably got 20 games in it. It still drives like Centurion 1. These are not your notorious typical medium play style. They're not very quick. They get up to speed well, just they're 40, so they're a little on the slow side. But these are hill fighters. You go and find in a nice ridge, a nice hold down position, and you wreck face. The guns, in my opinion, I actually almost like this gun better than most of the tier 8 guns on the mediums, at least. It does very well. Obviously the 226 average pen. Your APC rounds are 258. Once again, very good. Obviously it's running the 8.4 centimeter. This is obviously the Swedish version of the. Actually, no, wait. I'm sorry. I think the Cent 7.1 has the 20 pounder, right? So. There obviously there's a difference there. That 20 pounder, I'm assuming, is an 84 millimeter, just like the other one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's because I think the 17 pounder is a 76 millimeter. But anyway, I'm almost positive these two have the same gun. Like I said, one's called a 20 pounder, one's called an 8.4. So yeah, I'm assuming that they're the exact same gun. They're running this as a, obviously there's some inscriptions that are also coming out for these different tanks. Play so many games, you get a bunch of free shit. Yeah, hey, great, fine. On this one, actually, it already has the Primo Victoria written on the top. I think the other ones are. I'm not even sure. I can't even know. I can't put it on this one. But I think. Let's try the poodle. Exterior. Oh shit, that's another premium. Let's do the SDA one. Alright, exterior inscriptions. Yeah, so they've added a bunch of this stuff. You do the number of required games. You can put them on the. Oh, never mind. We'll think about that later. So yeah, you can add these once you complete the missions. This all tied into the Sabaton thing. Obviously, put them on whatever tank you want. I'm assuming that they are, once they're on, they're on. So, yeah, careful what you wish for, I guess. So yeah, some different inscriptions you put on your tank. They're all free. Do the stupid missions for them, and you get them, whatever. So, this tank, if I was gonna buy, yeah, definitely, I would definitely buy it. Right now, it is as fun as hell. I mean, until the Centurion, the one gets buffed. Right now, this is literally, it's easily the best, at least the best Centurion in the game. For actual tier 8 tank, it's right up there. I mean, we're talking probably in the top 3, 2 maybe. Especially if you can get hull down, you work ridges and whatnot. Nice snappy little gun. Yeah, it's a very good tank. Obviously we don't know if there's going to be a continuation of the Swedish line for the mediums. So maybe this is the one-off. Like I said, these gimmick tanks, they're out there. They're selling them as, whatever they are. They're going to be. It's tank collectors, people that are interested in these, or if they're really big fans of Sabaton. I know my boys are just like, hey, let's go. They really want to play this tank. So I'm sure if you see me in game and I'm doing some weird shit, it's probably not me. So just to give you a warning. So I got a couple games here. I actually have the 2 games I play. Two not too bad at games. One. Essentially, if you're hitting about 3k damage in one of these things, you're going to be doing 100. I think that one I was like 3,600 damage. It was like 122 or 124,000, and the other one was just a little bit over 2,000 damage, and it was right around the 90,000. So yeah, it makes good money. It's literally what you want to, if you're interested in this tank, of course. Some people are. I've seen the posts, I've seen the people bitching in chat like, well, it's just another money grab. Well, whatever. If you don't like it, don't buy it. So, all right. So on to the games. I think one's on Karelia, and I believe the other one's on Stalingrad. So, all right, here we are. Karelia, tier 9 match. Playing the Victoria. Obviously looking at the tanks on the opposing team. I'm going to actually play this tank just to kind of give you an idea of what this turret's all about. I mean, this is the big selling thing about this tank is how good this turret is. Right now, yeah, I would say it's as good as the Patriot, if maybe even better. It's a very nice turret. So I'm going to put this tank in a position where I can hold down, obviously. And that typically means the bottom riverbed over here on the 9-0 line. And I'll push up pretty quickly here. Mutts with me, 49, stuff like that. What I'm trying to do here is just try to get into that hold down position as fast as I can so I can keep the heavies from pushing around onto where the Mutts is headed up the hill. So you'll see, he obviously hasn't spotted anything. I slide over down to the bottom of the riverbed, and what I'm essentially going to do is just start working my way up to about the G9 area right there. straight ahead here by this rock. So what it does is also spots any of that shit that's going to be sitting back here, you know, like the streb or whatever. So yeah, I have a tendency to try to keep that lit. You know, obviously I've lit all these guys right here, and you'll watch here as I'm firing. Actually, I'm kind of curious where that penned at. I think that actually penned my turret ring. Some of the British tanks have a weak turret ring, but he kind of fucks up. He gets cut out in the open, allows me to keep him tracked. You know, you notice the accuracy of this tank. It is right down the middle of the barrel, where it should be when you're firing, of course. Lets you keep him tracked, lets you keep him in there. So, like I said, we're going to do a little bit of peeky pokey here with these guys. Obviously, the ONEs, they're all firing derp cannons, so I'm not actually terribly worried about it just yet. You know, snapshots, no problem. I really can't complain about the gun. I mean, to me, it's very good at what it does, which is essentially, you know, playing these hill games where you don't want to expose yourself too much to the enemy tank, especially these derp dickheads running these derp cannons. Because, you know, just on the outside chance that they're going to pin you, or, you know, pin your cupola or some stupid shit and do a billion fucking damage. So I try not to show as little as much as I possibly. And you can notice that as soon as I get into position, how quick that reticle zooms back down. So, and I'm actually kind of getting tired of dicking it. I don't know why. For some reason, I keep forgetting about his titties in the front and actually shooting him. But oh well, what are you gonna do? So the Oni is actually the one that's kind of holding my progress up here. He is in a position that if I have a tendency to get up to one side here, he can probably brain me in the back. And thank you, Artie. Love you too. So, other than the HE shell I just took from the Tiger 1, you know, it was fairly easy to bounce. You know, the 49 bounced, the 44 bounced, lets me get in there. So, push through, push these guys back, allow the T95 to come up here and be a bull, and run his way through this little chunk of tanks here. Like I said, mobility-wise, you know, this is obviously fairly decent ground right here. It does get up to speed quick. It's obviously, like I said, not the best, as you would call being a medium play, which is you know, getting around behind things. I mean, there's heavies that are better than this. You know, FCMs come off the top of my mind would do this better than what the Sen does, but it does get up to speed, you know, and once you get up to that speed, it's definitely a mover. But like I said, mobility-wise, not the best. Get up here. We've pretty much got him overrun. There's the Strev, the last Primo, and the Mr. Tier 9 that apparently didn't leave base. I'm not sure if that was a tactical call or if he just, or he's just one of them kind of players, you know, because I always love top tier TDs that don't do fuck all except for hide in a bush until the very last part of the game, and they get 2 shots off before they get gangbanged. I actually might do a video on that. It seems lately that's been a lot of bullshit. Maybe not lately. I mean, you've seen it for years, but I mean, for fuck's sake, you're dragging your behind 100 and you're still sitting in a fucking bush on base. Yeah, okay, you got problems. Sorry for the rant. Back to track here. Work the ridges. Always work the ridges with this tank. You know, enjoy that beautiful, beautiful turret on this tank. You know, get up in there. Always keep your hull somewhat down. I'm still assuming that I didn't see anything that actually said anything buff about the turret ring, so I'm guessing that this thing is probably still has the somewhat weak turret ring on these things. I mean, that's typically most of the British tanks have a crappy turret ring. Like I said, gun pretty much shows it for you. I mean, how accurate it is, unless of course RNG says fuck you. So, nice little game. I think I ended up with a blind shot or something like that. I think we're like just under 30, just at 3,600, which is about 122,000 credits. And even though I fired, I think 9 rounds of premium in between, not paying attention that I had it on and trying to shoot those ONEs, I still think I made it up like 65k after all the stuff and all the repairs and all that stuff. So, yeah, it does well. All right, so the next game I'm going to be doing is Stalingrad, and we'll give that a show right now. All right, back with the Stalingrad game. Once again, back into the Primo. I do like the paint job. It's pretty snazzy. Kind of gives a little bit of unique look to it. Once again, I don't know if you guys are metal fans or not, or even care what this is all about, but yeah, it's a little something different. Once again, kind of a gimmicky thing. So, tier 10 match, no artillery. This is where I'm gonna take this thing down here into the dunes. You remember to always play your tank to its strength, and in this case, this thing is that's what you do. You notice when I said going beach, and I get a little testy when I see a lot of tanks sitting and sniping in the back. Hence my encouragement. Don't fuck around. So, there is that. And some people have a tendency to get in these buildings and they just like to play peeky pokey, blah 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 blah. We have some good tanks here, and it's best to move up as quick as we can. So, I got an RU off to my left, Skoda to my top, bad chat, RHM behind it. Lets me to move up in here. And that's essentially what I'm trying to do here. Is I'm trying to move forward, keep things lit, and use my gun, which is, obviously use your gun. I don't know where that come from, but anyway, yeah, use my accuracy. The KR is hauled down as well, and I don't really want to sit here and play peeky pokey with him either. So you'll notice me here pushing up. It kind of has a twofold effect right here. It allows these guys, keeping these guys back, allows them from getting pushed by these 3 tanks. So here I am, ISU 152. Obviously, once again with the turn here, I'm actually kind of dicking with him because I really kind of want him to shoot me. I want to see what this turn does, and that was a heat round from the ISU 152. So yeah, very good turn. Keeps him back. Here I got a little too far up, and he was able to put a puncher one in the bottom of me. E4, I'm kind of going to drop back here and see if I can help these guys out a little bit, so I don't have to worry about him coming up behind me again. Pop one into him. Those guys are still down there just watching, so I'm not terribly worried about how this is going to go. The other Victoria shows up. Still got a KR, ISU, and obviously a Bulldog hanging out here. So push over. Finally, the other Victoria shows up. Foch is coming down here. Now that's how you really need to be playing that. Don't dick around, and that's what he does. That Foch is coming here, and he's not going to be dicking around. He's going to be, pushing, whatnot like that. So use this nice turn, get a nice shot off on the KR. KR misses. Now I'm up on essentially the same amount of hit points here. I thought I had the Uds, but it didn't work out. So other Primo Victoria comes down. This KR for some reason decides to go just complete and utter YOLO. I'm not sure if he was just trying to get a kill or what. Obviously he goes heads right in there. Leaves himself wide open to pretty much everybody. I'm already up to 1100 blocked. And other than just playing some real stupid shit right there where I pushed up a little too far, I probably would have taken almost probably no damage. But it is what it is. Just remember that this is a whole down ridge playing motherfucker. It does a lot, everything just about right. 10 degrees gun depression, 254 millimeters of armor on the front turret. And the cupola is not an easy thing to hit. I've had a couple of games I was playing against these other Chrysler, or not Chryslers, other Victorias, and even with this really accurate gun, there was lots and lots of shells that were bounced off the turret before it even got to the cupola. So it does have that going for it. It's not like it's got a huge tumor or any of that kind of shit. So obviously driving on the streets, it does keep its speed up. But once again, if you've played the Centurion, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't played the Centurion, this thing is not epic metal or epic mobility. It is what it is. It's relatively slow. This tank was a main battle tank. This wasn't technically considered a medium tank. This after World War II, these guys come in as literally the first MBT for Britain. Last left is the Chrysler, trying to get to his side, and they finish him off. Foch has pretty much cleaned all that shit up. So about 90k damage, 90k for the credits earned, and I didn't fire a single shell at premium, I don't believe. So yeah, I think I took home right around 70,000 or something like that. So yeah, it's a moneymaker. 2,600, about 90k, and the other one was 3,600, and that was about 122k. So as a moneymaker, excellent. We'll see how it turns out if they actually do turn these things, if there actually is going to be a Swedish line coming out. I'm assuming so, since they brought out the tier 8, and that's typically their MO. So I guess we'll just wait and see. All right, so thanks for watching the review, and I'll talk to you guys.